Hello and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. And excuse the background harmony, just been zapped into harmony there. Greetings, harmony, and hashtag harmony M and Summerwell's Army. We got some electric storms happening in the background, and there will be additional content loaded onto the channel every Friday if you'd like to join for extra content. And there's a very interesting profile by numbers. I'm going to be looking at serial killers, and the first episode or series, I'm going to do it in series so that we get a flow of it. We build an understanding of what we're trying to achieve. So I'm going to be looking at the Green River Killer, and we're going to do it over a period of 23 episodes. And to date, there is approximately 46 known identified cases associated with the Green River Killer. So the objective there is to see how the paths of each person met and see if we can pick up patterns and see what we can learn from this. And I will be dealing with mature content, looking at true crime events. And disclaimer, these are my own opinions. Everything I say does need to be tested in a court of law under due process, right? And in today's cold case, I'm looking at Megan DRUMHILLER. And although the case is only 2 years old, I'm calling it cold case because I believe very little has been done on this tragic event. And I have a sneaky suspicion why. That actually, my little intro there just solved the puzzle, by the way, because I thought, you know that feeling of, okay, I'm at least 75%, 80% happy with what's going to happen, and then you expect the 20% will come as you go, right? Well, there's a whole theory about that, but that intro just solved the puzzle. And that's when I was talking about why there's been a delay from the police point of view, and that is the 10-1 there on the 27th, ladies and gentlemen, and also visible on January the 28th. Something is very amiss with this case. I'll say it again. Something is amiss with this case, because for one thing, I'm getting it's difficult to explain. I'm getting two versions or two outcomes, if you like. And there's a bit of charading going on. There's staging going on. There's interference going on. And there's lies going on here, I must admit. And when I was meditating on this and just absorbing the information, and I must tell you, there's a lot of information coming out of these days leading up to the event. Now, 2 years ago, January the 28th, that is when Megan's body was discovered. But I believe the death and murder, in this case, I believe would have taken place during the day, I would say, of January the 26th. And I'm getting specific on time. So this is what I did to get an anchor point on the story here. So because I had watched a video, I was alerted to two pieces of information that I brought onto this chart. One is January 28th. That is, of course, the day of discovery. And also the 16/7, which is, I believe the police have reported that the death was by suffocation. So immediately, obviously, the January the 28th is discovery, but to indicate to me when and how and what happened, the 16/7 typically is the death by suffocation number. And I mentioned that, I believe, in the Summer Wells case. Through strangulation or plastic bag over the face, smothering. But there is a real serious issue going on here, unfortunately, because this is why I believe the case is halted pretty much at day one, right? Because I believe there's police involvement here in some way, shape, or form. So let's say, for example, of course, we're not saying the police went rogue and killed Megan. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I am saying, there's definitely a group of people, predominantly male and older males, and I believe one of them could be, or I'm not even going to say could be, one of them is the boyfriend, I would believe. And there's like this band of brothers. Now, the 14/5 on the 25th of January tells me the boyfriend, band of brothers. And that, or let's put it this way. So there's definitely the boyfriend. Okay, there's definitely the boyfriend, plus one, minimum. So, but because it's 14/5, there's definitely more. I would say at least 2 or 3, maybe 4 maximum, but there's definitely more than one. So there's definitely 2 males in her apartment when she dies. Minimum, there could be 3 or 4, is what I'm saying. The 15/6 alerts me to the older male, and the murder for me. Now, this is, see, something's going on here. The 27/9 is the hit. Now, this is also slightly perturbing because why would Megan be hit? Why would a hit be put out on Megan? And then there's the other side of the coin, that this was meant to be something else. Or let's put it this way, the outcome as we know today, Megan found deceased on the 28th of January via strangulation in her apartment. That was not meant to be the outcome or the complete or total outcome as we know today. I also believe something went wrong. Something went awry during the situation as well. Whether she put up a fight or fought for her life, that could be a possibility, actually. Thwarted or try to thwart the situation and their advances type thing. So I believe by the time we get to January the 27th, I believe, unfortunately, Megan would have been deceased by then. Definitely. Now, as mentioned, when I did that intro, it made a connection for me in that 10/1. Now, now, let me just tell you what that's telling me, and you will see what I'm dealing with, right? So, in what I'm seeing and interpreting, there's police activity on the scene already. But not on the scene like call everyone, call the ambulance, call fire, whatever. There's knowing of the event that took place in that apartment by authorities. Before, that's the way I'm interpreting it, before the discovery is made on the 28th officially. So something's not adding up here for me. Something went wrong here. And I would say the reason what led me to the boyfriend, and sorry, I just jumped into that bit of information. There's a progression, and of course, I always want to show you the progression, the logic. So 24/6. So if we look on the 24th of January, beg your pardon, on the top left, January 24, 24/6. That is family and friends. And we got that a mass of sixes on that day as well. That is a highly or very detrimental day. It's a volcanic day. It's a volatile day. We've even got the 13-4 outcome there, which pings directly on Megan, who has a 13-4 life path. So what I'm picking up on, so I try to go back, of course, as you'll see, I haven't even gone one day forward from the 28th, because I believe the story is leading up, obviously, to the Discovery Day. That on the 24th, that 25/7 that's sitting in the middle of that day there is also, for me, problematic. And okay, this is what I believe is the motive and the reasoning behind either the intended or unintended outcome. But what I believe is the boyfriend might have gone over with some friends. But I don't think things were that great with her and the boyfriend. And while I was pulling out these dates and making colors and circles and squares, on two separate occasions, I received information of the like saying, the guy that she was dating, or her boyfriend, was he himself having his own personal conflicts within himself about himself and, I believe, Megan. Now, it could be circumstantial, but let's take it in the real. You got a couple that do they go away together? Because actually, if he was with her on holiday for those 3 weeks, it would just make more sense, right? But I'm just presuming that she went away with her family and he remained with his family, been over holidays. So please don't quote me on the story in terms of who went to what side. But what's clear for me is I believe the boyfriend had an inferiority complex around Megan and her family and her circumstances and her family's context, if you like. Maybe he didn't fit in as the appropriate or ideal son-in-law for Megan. I kept on getting the sense that there's a class or a status issue at play between them and part of that family. I'm going on a limb there, but I had that impression twice. Now, the outcome, there was definitely conflict, because that 28 immediately tells us argument. So there's definitely, on that 28th of January, there was it reflects technically what I believe happened here. That there was an outburst, there was an argument on the 26th of January. And it's evident there, the 26-8, 268. Now, argument, my ex-boss, amazing filmmaker, producer, always said you're always 2 meters, let's say in American metric system, let's say 2 feet. It's you're always 2 feet away from prison. That even though as a friendly gesture, and I had this situation now 2 weeks ago on set, where an unintended putting out the arm situation can ultimately end up in a huge escalation of a physical brawl, right? Just because you don't want someone to go past. So we have an outburst and a physical shouting match happening on the 26th of January, 26/8. And when the sun rises on that day, the 26th January, it's already in play, the 26/8. So by sunrise, that tension is in the air. Now again, we see anomalous. We have the massive sixes again on January the 26th, which occurred again just 2 days prior. And this is troubling because with sixes, and of course we are dealing with a very negative outcome, unfortunately, but in the darkness, let's try to understand what happened. And that is, with all these sixes around, we have a mass energy of like anger, violence, guns, knives, bullets, fire, high volumes of temperature when you got all of these sixes around. So we see the 26/8 there, and I'm seeing as results in a 27/9, which in my opinion is a hit. This was pre-planned. A human being, 14/5, here he is, yeah, the bastard, 14/5, has somewhat put together a plan, and you see, maybe that's the issue, because something goes wrong here. Now, of course, Megan dying in the situation is wrong, but something goes wrong during the situation that, it's one of these situations we're not going to be, I haven't received the answer, but it's one of these things that for me, it's the common sense. The numbers aren't adding up. Something's awry here. I do believe, of course, there's a death, 27/9, that I've got. But the motives and the cause and the people involved is foggy. So there is a cloud of deception. There is foul play in the number 14/5, and that is on the January the 25th, 14/5, which is the lead up to January 26th. And we make note of the 26/8 already present also on the 25th. This is an ongoing thing. That's what I'm saying. The January 24. So we got the 24/6, clear indication of family. I know they were just away, but I mean, if you told me all the family we had met on that day, I would agree with you, because we got the 24/6, we got all the other sixes. Or it could have been the end of the holiday, but you've got this mass of sixes there. But in this case, it's the friendlier side of life, right? 24/6. Whereas on the 26th, you've got the 27/9. And with the outcome 6 there, this is a little bit of a different day with all those sixes, unfortunately. But something happened. Gosh, I suppose I should have researched about it, but something might, it's either he didn't go to the holiday with the family and became a bit disgruntled that, maybe she was only going to go for a week and they would spend 2 weeks together and she ended up being there for 3 weeks. We don't know that, right? But something happened during the course of the holiday, family related or friends related, that includes boyfriend at an intimate level, that something was not happy and something went awry. But I believe a lot of insecurity issues being dealt with this male. And that 14.5, although it indicates the presence of males and generally younger males, but males behaving badly, is that we also have impotent males, 14.5. And insecure males, or males with male issues, whether physical, mental, or emotional. But unfortunately, I do believe there's a measure of premeditation here. The 27.9 for me is like specific. It's not an accidental death. It's specifically going out to kill. The plan was to kill, not to injure, to kill. And it reflected again on January the 27th, 27.9. Intention was to murder. And there's an element of money involved here as well. Not a small element. I would say in the background somewhere, there's something about money, policy money. There was maybe policies taken out. I haven't done a deep research. I generally don't. I like to keep it fresh. But there's something amiss here. Now, going back to that 10.1, because when I heard Megan's father say, or there was a write-up of the article as part of the interview or video that I saw, things were sitting in the lab for months, 6 months, 7 months, maybe longer. But certainly when you have a case like this, when a young lady is murdered inside her home, there would be a little bit of movement. So when I look on January the 27th, and this is before the discovery, right? This is why these things are interesting from a numerology point of view, because what is put out there, when you look at it from a numerology point of view, someone could be lying. So something's not adding up. In my opinion, there is an organizational element involved here. And I do believe, because the presence of the sevens, that it is law enforcement. There's some kind of connection here. So what I'm thinking, or it's just pinged on me again. Now, let's say there were 3 perps in the house, or 2 or 3, or whatever it is. But one of them is connected somehow to law enforcement, or there's a law enforcement connection. And I believe there's a staging that took place as well here, similar to the Idaho murders. There's this definite staging. We've got the presence of the 26.8. We've got 26.8 on the 25th and the 26th. Something doesn't add up with this case. I just wanted to also point out with Megan, her date of birth is on the top right there. And if I have it correct, as April 17, 1990. She has a life path power number 22.4. And this for me is the most disheartening part of the story. The 22.4 is the builder, is the creator, she would have been the type of person. I mean, she could have been involved in property or land, earth type careers, but she could also be the builder. And when I say builder, let's say in the digital age, you can build a whole IT company. She is that kind of person. She can build a company or build something. She's a creator, builder from scratch, and usually larger projects. But she also has that 13.4, and Yeah, she would be the writer as well, author of her life. And she has the 12-3 in the day. Very feminine, girly girl type person. And with a 4 April, I'm born in April as well. 4s, solid people, have their routine, structure, facts, figures. Very good numbers. And that 22-4 is, I mean, that's a power and a half number, I tell you. And then born 1990, the 19-10-1. Yeah, we have that 10-1 on player. I was actually looking for it earlier. It's actually sitting there with her, the year that she's born in. 10-1. Unfortunately, I think that's problematic as well. That 10-1 pings directly on the year that she's born in as well. Was there legacy money or money at play here? Family inheritance. Did she push the boyfriend away? There's a class status struggle here somewhere. Yeah. Unfortunately, with this case with Megan, there's more than meets the eye. And when you start hearing reports of cases not moving, even though there's been a heinous crime committed on a young lady, one can only wonder why. Why, Mr. Sheriff? All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to leave it here for now. There's definitely more at play here. There's definitely a staging, more than one person involved. Whoever did this is very known, familiar to Megan. Like, if it's not the middle, central, core, periphery person, it is definitely the next periphery. This person is right pretty much in the middle of everything. So, someone knows something. Let me check that actually. Yeah, there's definitely a knowing, obviously. 10-1, sorry. But the 17-8 confirms it as well. The 17-8 confirms there has been a talking about this, a whispering, and a knowing of, not of the case, but of what's happened inside the apartment or building she lived in, of what transpired that evening, I believe. Very likely January the 26th, but certainly by January the 27th, she was certainly deceased by then, unfortunately. All right, let me know what you think. And please leave your comments there in the comment section. I love reading your comments. If you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. And I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe and stay alert.